It's time for Bearcat basketball on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Tonight's game is presented by the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community, and by D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family. Tonight's game is also brought to you by Simone Family Chiropractic in downtown Huntingdon, Brannaman's Meat Market, and by Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing of Huntingdon. Now, with all the action of tonight's game, here's the voice of Bearcat Sports, Dave Shannon, on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
And we're getting ready for tonight's start of the game between the Bearcats and the Central Scarlet Dragons. The fans are getting the opening announcements. And what that means is we're going to check in with Coach Payne. The pregame show continues on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM Huntingdon.
Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon.
Here are the head coach of the Huntingdon Bearcats, Nick Payne. Coach Payne, what a season for your guys. Only one loss in the conference and only 2 overall. I'd like to say you made that at the beginning of the season, but did you?
Yeah, I knew kind of what team that we had coming in. Obviously we were a little surprised with just only 2 losses, but I knew we had the right mix and match of players, and the basketball IQ is very high of these players, and they just have a lot of great gut, and they go after it every night.
One of the things I noticed was here covered both times you played Tyrone, and the Tyrone game pointed out to me how ferocious your defense can be and how fast your team can be as well. In particular, it seemed to me the game that was played here against Tyrone that Jonathan Price may have had more steals than he had points, and that would have been tough to do.
Yeah, he's definitely quick. He has really good hands, and he has a really good knack of picking people's pockets. And sometimes I yell at him for he gets out of place defensively, but he's done that all season long. He's done that all throughout his career, and and that's a nice luxury to have.
Yeah, for sure. Talk about Nick and his season that he had. Ended up being the highest average scorer on the team, and of course that's pretty good stuff. And I don't think it was ever at the point though where you leaned on him that if Nick was going to have an off night that it would hurt the team a lot.
Well, first of all, Nick is probably one of the hardest working basketball players that I've coached. I've said this before. He's always the first one in the gym. He's always the last one out of the gym, and that's on a daily basis. But that's who we are as a team. We have eight players that contribute night in and night out, and if one player is maybe not doing so well, or 2 players are not doing so well, we have the capability of the other players picking up the slack.
Well, okay, here you go. You're up against Central as they moved on to come here to play, and of course you've seen Central over the course of the year. What do they bring to the table that may be a problem for your guys?
Well, first of all, I got to congratulate Reggie and what a great job he's done this year with the team. I know they lost a lot of seniors last year, and he's surprised, and I think everyone else in the Mountain League's surprised of how well Central's competed, and and the record definitely shows for it. And a lot of that contributions coming from Joey Smith, 0 for him. He came off the bench last year for him. He's tall, lanky. He can get to the hoop, and his engine just goes nonstop the entire length of the game. So we got to keep an eye on him all night long, and we also got to they got some shooters. If they get hot, we got to watch out. What to look for during the game is they're more likely going to be sitting there in a 2-3 zone, and we got to be patient. We got to attack the zone. We can't always rely on the 3 ball. So, I'm going to be looking at our interior game on offense And defensively, you know, we can't allow them to get to the paint. When they were down here last time, we allowed too much penetration. They're getting a lot of easy hoops. So we want to tighten up the defense a little bit.
All right, sounds like a recipe for success and hopefully making it to the Altoona campus on Saturday to play for the championship. Good luck tonight.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right, back with more right after this.
What the heck, let's keep it here. It is time to tip this thing off and get this party started. At Huntingdon Area High School is the Bearcats. Get ready to host the Central Scarlet Dragons. Starters for Central: Joey Smith, Luke Williams, Noah Muthler, Thad Albright, and Hunter Klotz. For the Bearcats, Jonathan Price, Andrew Miller, Jackson Burchie, Will Selesky, and Nick Rigby. Check that, Owen Lane. I got to get Owen Lane in there. Owen's out there. And the tap between Rigby and Smith is won by Nick Rigby, and Jonathan Price will bring the ball up the floor. Jayton Smith with the basketball out around the midcourt circle. The Price on the right wing, back to Smith. They play catch out there, trying to draw the Dragons out, maybe open something up on the baseline. Price is going to decide to take a three from the right wing. Jonathan Price gets the party started with a big three, and the Bearcats are up 3-0. 7:33, steal by Price. Doesn't have an opening, so he stops at the three-point line, and it doesn't matter anyway if that would have gone in, because after he's made the steal and headed into the Dragons' end, he ended up traveling. Inbound play for Central as the ball goes from Noah Muthler to Luke Williams. Muthler back with it. And a steal. Jonathan Price picks it up. Baseball pass down the field. Nick Rigby tried to save it before it went out of bounds, but he could not. It was just thrown a bit high, and Nick couldn't bring it down. 7:19 left. First quarter, 3-0 Bearcats lead thanks to Jonathan Price. Central Scarlet Dragons dressed in their Scarlet Road uniforms. Red and white. Dragons across the front in white. Another turn to Price. Bearcats made it for a 5, not 7:04 left to go here in the first quarter. Central trying to get something started with their big guy. Joey Smith drives to the hole from the left side. Joey Smith puts it up and in, and it's 5-2 in favor of the Bearcats. Quickly back, Jonathan Price for a three, and he's way off that time. Fight for the rebound underneath between Nick Rigby and a couple of the Scarlet Dragons, including Hunter Klotz, and it's a ball call. The possession arrow pointing to Central. 5-2, Bearcats lead. 6:46 left here in the first quarter. Bringing the ball up the floor, it's Joey Smith. Not only a tall guy and a lanky guy, as Coach said, he's also a ball handler. And he passes the ball to his teammate Noah Muthler, who tries to penetrate underneath, and he ends up traveling as he meets resistance in the lane. Inbound play goes from Peyton Smith to Will Selesky and back to Smith, and he'll get it over the midcourt stripe. Bearcats 5, Central 2, 6:25 left to go in the first quarter. Nick Rigby down on the baseline to Owen Lane. Back out, stolen. Joey Smith is going to try to go to the hole, and it's stolen right back by Jonathan Price ahead to Owen Lane. Lets everybody go by him. Does the layup. It falls, but it's all for naught. A travel called on Owen Lane. 6:12 left to go. And as you might be able to hear in the background, a nice contingent of Central Scarlet Dragons fans here at Huntingdon tonight. Getting down near the 6-minute mark with the basketball, Thad Albright. Albright goes to Hunter Klotz, and eventually dribbling it out is Luke Williams. Williams goes back. They're a little careless with the ball here early on, that is, Central is. And driving toward the basket, Noah Muthler is unable to penetrate, and it ends up going out off of the leg of Jayton Smith with a good D down around the basket. Muthler will inbound. And an inbound play wide open, cutting to the basket was Luke Williams, and he was just too wide open. He ended up losing control of the ball, and it goes out of bounds. Score remains 5-2 Bearcats. 5:40 left to go in the first quarter, and Jayton Smith dribbles out around the midcourt stripe. He and Jonathan Price play catch, and Joey Smith tries to get a steal leaping up there. And, of course, Joey is a big kid anyway. And he was just a little bit bigger with that leap. And he ended up knocking it out of bounds to the Bearcats. Nick Rigby inbounds to Jayton Smith. Smith to Price, right wing. I don't think he's going to be shooting that one again for a while. Down to the baseline, and Owen Lane goes back out. Jayton Smith goes inside to Selesky. Owen Lane started to go down the baseline, stopped, goes back out to Selesky. Here goes Smith. Kicks it over, Selesky into the corner. Nick Rigby for three. And the Bearcats take an 8-2 lead. 5:02 left to go here in the first quarter, and as Central brings it up the floor, trying to get another steal was Jonathan Price, as you might suspect, and Jonathan wrapped that one out of bounds, coming up behind Thad Albright. And as the inbound play begins for Central, it gets whistled down because there's a foul on Jonathan Price. He picks up his first and team's first here against 8-2 Central to inbound. Noah Muthler at the baseline underneath the basket. He ends up going instead to Hunter Klotz, and that shot is rejected. It is, however, recovered by Central. Pass to Joey Smith. Will Selesky comes up with the ball. Selesky ahead to Jayton Smith. Goes down into the right corner to Jonathan Price, and Jayton takes it out to the midcourt circle. Here's Selesky at the foul line. Starts down the lane, kicks it back out. Price for three. That's a little long off the back of the rim, and the rebound pulled down by Joey Smith. 4:29 left, first quarter. 8-2 Bearcats lead. A little Euro step by Joey Smith in the dish to Hunter Klotz, and Klotz scores to make it an 8-4 Bearcats lead. Price to Selesky at the foul line, and then to Owen Lane on the baseline. Tries that as a little jumper, and it's a little bit long, and there is a foul on the play, as they call that one on Noah Muthler. And Muthler, nope, I'm sorry, it's actually Luke Williams. That's his first, team's first. And the basket is good for Nick Rigby. Rigby now with 5, and Price with 5, and a 10-4 Bearcats lead. Muthler with the basketball. Dribbles around the top of the key and now starts down the right side of it. Almost traveled there, but shot it to go. And Joey Smith tried to get the rebound, but the strength of Will Selesky got it. Jayton Smith to Selesky out at the top of the key. Jonathan Price goes down on the baseline. Selesky tries to he mows over Noah Muthler. And the charge is called on Will Selesky picking up first. That will be and a sub to the game for the Bearcats. Jackson Ritchie will show up and replace Will Selesky. Owen Lane comes out of the game. Coming in for him, Nick Earhart. 3:37 left, first quarter. 10-4 Bearcats lead, and Central inbounds the basketball. Noah Muthler brings it up toward the midcourt stripe, makes it across the timeline, kicks it into the corner. And as there was a move attempted by Thad Albright, he traveled. That hesitation step, and more often than not, much to the dismay of many a player, that ends up being called a travel. Inbound play, Jonathan Price to Jayton Smith. Smith brings it up over the midcourt stripe. 3:24 left, first quarter. 10-4 Bearcats lead. Pass over to Price, right wing. He's going to try that three again, and he's got it. 8 points in the game for Jonathan Price, and the Bearcats are up by a score of 13-4. And Central decides they need a 30-second timeout, and so they call it. Happy to have you with us here on the airnetwork.net as we get back to bringing you some high school sports here. And do want to let everybody know that our dear friend and colleague Greg Banks took ill right after the holidays in a big way. Let us suffice to say, Greg will let you folks know exactly what all happened. But a number of ailments and problems for Greg. He's been fighting through it, and boy, is he a fighter. Went to visit him a number of times as he was at Health South in Altoona, and he came along and kept fighting every day and has one of the best attitudes of anyone that I know. And if anyone can work their way through this, it's going to be Greg Banks. So Greg is back. He is at home,
And we're experiencing some technical difficulties live from the Huntingdon High School Gymnasium tonight. Dave Shannon live during the Central Huntingdon High School Boys Basketball Playoff game. listen for details, and, of course, keep it here as we try to reestablish our transmission on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM.
Okay, now, just to give you a little bit of history, the Bob Perks Fund is actually started in State College. It's named after Bob Perks, of course, and he was a founding member of Coaches versus Cancer. And he tried to do things. Well, ironically, he himself got cancer, and he passed away in 2005 of melanoma. So to keep his legacy going, his wife established this in his memory, and she wanted to help people financially because when they were going back and forth to Pittsburgh, they found out what it was like, how devastating, the cancer is to begin with, and then you got the financial situations. So that's how it all got started, and it's in actually 4 counties. It's in Huntingdon, Center, Blair, and Clearfield counties. And one of the things is we always stress that the funds that comes in Huntingdon County stays in Huntingdon County for the cancer patients. We are here to help our people, and you give money, that money is all going to go to Huntingdon County people.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And it supports while they're going through cancer treatments. And we call it a lifeline. It's a lifeline that you can pay for the basic living expenses. It's like rent, utilities, phone, food. Right now, a big thing is heating fuel. And, of course, there's gas for the treatments back and forth. And so these are things, the basic things that we have to have, but you end up not being able to put the money towards them because you're putting it running to Altoona or Pittsburgh, spending all that money in gas or staying in a motel room. So this is how we're trying to help. We actually don't give the patient money. We pay their bill.
Okay.
And then that way we know that bill's getting paid and that person is being taken care of. And it's just something that person can think about, hey, I can think about getting better. I don't have to worry about, am I going to get evicted or is my phone going to get turned off?
Right.
They don't have to worry about that now.
Wow. That is certainly a fantastic service. And we oftentimes, and you've heard us talk about the Bob Perks Fund, but you have a lot of events where you help raise money. Talk about some of those upcoming events here in the next month or two.
Yeah, we do. We try to have fun things. We want to have people come, and we're just not going to say, hey, we've got this fundraiser. We want you to have fun.
Right.
And we have a bingo coming up on March 11th, and it's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The doors open at 1. But the bingo will be held at the Mount Union American Legion Country Club. And $20 a ticket. And we have this posted on Facebook under Bob Perks Huntingdon Group.
Okay.
So if anybody's interested, they can either get a hold of me, they can Facebook me, Ricky Himes, or they can get on that Huntingdon group and request, tell us you want to get a ticket and we'll take care of you.
Right.
And then on April 21st, we have a sign painting party. And that will be at the Mill Creek Fire Hall, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's on a Saturday. This is something brand new. It's sign painting by Jackie. And she came to us and she said, hey, I want to do something. And this is what's awesome because people do come and say, hey, I want to do something. What can I do? And like her, she said, I'd like to do something. And she paints signs that you can put your name on it, household signs and family tree signs. So we're going to have that on April the 21st. And right now we're a little bit light, but if you're willing to let me come back, I can tell you things that's going to be going on in the summertime.
We've got all the time in the world now. We have events coming up, Ricky, like, for instance, baseball season. We'll have those games on the air. So, yeah, we'll certainly invite you back because I want to hear about one thing you shared with me
a few years ago about a special day for survivors and a special event that you put together every summer. Just sort of to give the audience kind of a thumbnail sketch of that event. What is that event, and when's that happen?
That event will be August the 18th. So mark your calendar.
Right.
And it is down at Captain Jack Lyons Park. And we chose that because it's halfway between Huntingdon and Mount Union, so we can get, halfway in there so people can come from both areas. And that's what we do. We spend our day celebrating with the survivors. We have a meal for them. We cook. This year it's going to be a really good turkey dinner. We're going to have a turkey dinner this year for them.
Wow.
And we have people coming in, and they sing, they entertain, and then we do remember those people that passed. We generally have a Chinese auction, and it's just a good day of just being together and reflecting and celebrating. This year we plan to do a lot of it online, because last year we did some, and it was really, it was good.
Okay.
So we plan to do some online. I might be getting you to help me maybe.
Okay.
And, but I know Derek Heidel will be there. He's already told me he'll be there.
Right.
And so there's a couple other singers in the area that I want to get in touch with. And so we want to have entertainment all day. Then in the evening, we light luminarias.
Okay.
And it's real similar to the Relay for Life.
Right.
We actually got permission from the ACS to be able to do this. But we have the luminarias. People can either decorate them, put their names on, or they can order them ahead of time and email me a picture. I put the picture on the bag, and then we put them out along the track. We want to line that entire track down there.
Right.
When you go past there in Route 22, that's beautiful looking down over seeing them lit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. So that's something that we want to do this year, is make sure we have that entire track lit.
Now, that's coming up on August 18th at Captain Jack Lyons Park. And, of course, what's the name of the event again?
It's a Survivor Celebration.
Survivor Celebration. This is the day that we celebrate the lives of all cancer survivors, but we also remember those we have lost. And, of course, Ricky Himes is on the line with us during halftime of the game tonight.
The community.
And
thank you for
Ricky,
your
how do they
support.
reach out
the
to
Goodman
you?
family wishes you the best. To all area students in your pursuit of excellence.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities year-round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors community events for the public, plus social events for members and their guests.
Okay, we're going to check in and see if Greg Banks is there. And see, apparently we lost the feed, and I just can't apologize enough to you folks for having that happen. And it was something that I was just unable to pick up on. We hope we're back with you. Once again, major apologies there. We made it
Dave,
through the first half. A pretty exciting first half. The Bearcats at one point
we're
up
back,
by 11.
Dave. Go ahead.
And it was Central closing the gap at the end and getting the final shot in at the end of the first half. And we are at halftime. The score, the Huntingdon Bearcats 31 and the Central Scarlet Dragons 25. So unfortunately, I'm going to try to give you the point totals. I just cannot believe that happened. So, folks, we're going to take a break here, and we'll be back with more at halftime. Once again, our apologies. You're listening to Huntingdon Bearcat basketball. We're here in the postseason. We're going to try to get the second half to you, and we'll do that coming up. You're listening to Bearcat basketball on the airnetwork.net.
DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, DC Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities year-round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors community events for the public, plus social events for members and their guests. Stop by for their Friday food specials starting at 5 p.m. every Friday, and don't forget to check out our website for other exciting events. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community. Join us today.
Fresh from the farm. That's the Brenneman's Meat Market way. Their USDA-certified meat facility offers custom butchering and processing from a large selection of locally sourced beef, pork, goat, and lamb. The retail store offers a large variety of fresh-cut beef, pork, and chicken, along with deli items, smoked products, and an impressive selection of seafood. For freshness and unbeatable flavor for your home or wholesale needs, choose Brenneman's Meat Market.
Brenneman's Meat Market in Huntingdon. Call 643-2751.
And we are back at Huntingdon Area High School Gym. I'm Dave Shannon on the airnetwork.net. Once again, extreme apologies here. I am so perturbed. It's been a while since we've been able to be with you folks, and then to let you down like that is just inexcusable. And sometimes I guess that's what happens when you rely a little too much on technology. And let's go over the scoring from the first half. For the Huntingdon Bearcats, leading scorer Jonathan Price with 13, Nick Rigby with 10, 5 for Nick Gearhart, and Will Selesky with 3. Central gets the ball here to start the second half. And here goes Albright. Nice little pass as he dishes it to Joey Smith. Smith goes to the basket, tries a layup. It will not go, but Smith is fouled on the way to the hoops and trying to get this lead of the Huntingdon Bearcats down even further. 31-25, just 6 now. Smith at the line, and he'll get to shoot 2. First one rims out pretty hard. On the Central side of the scoring, it was Joey Smith with just 5 in the first half. He can be a big force, as Coach Nick Payne told us there at the beginning of the game, and he misses the second one too, so we're still at 31-25, still have that 6-point bulge. Here's a deep 3 from Jonathan Price. Rebound fought for, and pulling it away from Owen Lane that time was Braden Kitt. And he gets it to Moodler, and Moodler brings it up over the midcourt stripe. Goes over to Albright. Thad Albright on the left side. Joey Smith, left baseline, makes a move, kicks it back out. 3-point attempt is up and too long. And the rebound's pulled down by Will Selesky. Will has been getting his share of boards here as this game has been going on. Nice behind-the-back pass from Price to Jayden Smith. Smith out near the midcourt circle. And now a nice pass down in on the baseline. Quickly back to Selesky. Jayden Smith goes to Nick Rigby, and the ball is tapped out of bounds that time by Braden Kitt. 31-25, and we've taken a minute off the clock here in the third quarter. Selesky to inbound. Looks around. Gets it into Rigby. Puts a shot up and almost falls, and he is fouled. And I think that's going to be on Moodler, and in which case that will be his third. No, it's not on Moodler. They say Thad Albright with the foul. And that is Thad's first, and Central's first here in the second half. 2 shots for Nick Rigby from the foul line. First one is nothing but net. Nick Rigby from the foul line is a 69% shooter. Some really nice percentages for these Bearcats. That's how you end up the season with only 2 losses. You got guys shooting from the line like that. Nick makes them both. And the Bearcats are now up by a 33-25 score. Central with the ball in their end. They try to take the ball out and
get it into the hands of Hunter Klotz, and good defense from Owen Lane, knocking that out of bounds. Klotz will inbound. Goes to Smith in the left corner, guarded by Selesky. Smith gets in the way. Price gets in the way of that pass. They get it ahead quickly. Jayton Smith goes to the hole, lays it up, and gets fouled in the process. Foul was called, I believe, on Noah. Nope, it was Braden Kidd, I believe, and that's his third. Kidd had come in off the bench and really provided a spark for Central, and now he's going to have to leave the game. Luke Williams, who has 3 fouls, is going to come in to replace him. Jayton Smith at the line. He made the first of the 2 that he gets to shoot. First point of the night. And Jayton goes 2 for 2 from the foul line. Takes advantage of his first trip to the charity stripe tonight. Central brings the ball up the floor. Noah Moodler on the left side. Tries to go around. Jayton Smith does, and then is stopped by Owen Lane. They kick it back out for 0-0. Joey Smith drives to the lane, puts a little runner up, and it falls down through. And it is Bearcats 35 and Central 27. Jayton Smith to Nick Rigby, then to Will Selesky, and back to Rigby. Right wing, back out to that midcourt circle, and Jayton Smith dribbling to Jonathan Price, deep in the right wing, down into the right corner. Owen Lane, then to Selesky, and back to Smith. Thought about the NBA 3 and then thought better of it when Coach Nick Payne right beside him there. Lane now takes a pass, drives to the basket, and this time it's going to be an offensive foul as he knocks Noah Moodler down. Owen Lane picking up his second foul, and that'll be the second on the Bearcats. 35-27, though. Bearcats with the lead. 5:50 left to go in the third quarter. Long way to go. These 2 teams trying to get to Penn State Altoona for a District 6 championship game. Here's a steal by Jayton Smith on a poor pass by Joey Smith. Jayton Smith to Jonathan Price, back to Smith, and now Price is going to take a deep 3 from the left wing, and just off a little bit, rebound Nick Rigby, and a fight between he and Joey Smith, and Smith ends up coming up with the ball as it rolled along the floor down the baseline. No travel or anything. Some of the fans wanted to travel. And then at the other end, Noah Moodler tried to make a move toward the lane, and an illegal screen called on Central. And Luke Williams came into the game for just a brief period of time because that's his 4th. He was called for that illegal pick. Owen Lane inbounds to Jayton Smith. Smith over the midcourt stripe. 5:15 left, third quarter. Nick Rigby back to Jayton Smith. Rigby and Smith playing catch. Ooh, almost tipped away and stolen that time by Thad Albright, but eventually it makes its way to Smith. He tries a 3 deep from the left wing and won't fall on the rebound by Noah Moodler. Moodler up the floor as we go under 5 left to go in the third quarter. Moodler's going to drive to the lane, dish it right at the end, and Albright gets it up and in. Thad Albright now with 7 points on the night, and it's a 35-29 Bearcat lead. Will Selesky down the left baseline, kicks it back out. Jonathan Price wide open for a 3, and it's short. Rebound, though, Selesky. Selesky to Rigby. What a nice touch by Nick Rigby, and a little floater in the lane, and Nick scores, and the Bearcats are up 37-29. Moodler passes the ball to Hunter Klotz. To Albright, over to Joey Smith. And a little bumping and grinding down there in the baseline, and the foul gets called on Hunter Klotz. That's his first for Central, and the Scarlet Dragons now with 4 in the second half. Owen Lane comes out of the game along with Jayton Smith. Nick Gerhardt comes back in, and Will Selesky inbounds to him. Also coming into the game, Jackson Ritchie. Ritchie's down in the right baseline. Gerhardt brought it up over the midcourt stripe. Nick Rigby looks around, and he goes to Jackson Ritchie, back to Rigby. Starts down the lane, makes a little pass over to Selesky. Selesky then is double-teamed as he gets near the basket. And as he tries to cover up the ball, he drags his foot, and they end up calling traveling. Not a popular call here at Huntingdon Area High School, but so is the nature of high school basketball, especially with this much at stake. Noah Moodler to Thad Albright, and they kick it back out for a three-point attempt. Ill-advised by Braden Kitt. Here's Jonathan Price ahead. And with the ball in the lane, a spin move, but unfortunately Jackson Ritchie got open because he double dribbled. So a lot of nothing going on here as far as the scoreboard goes. A lot of activity, but no points. 37-29, Bearcats up by 8. 3:30 left to go in the third quarter. Moodler to Smith. Down the left baseline. Nice move to the basket. Strong move by Smith, and he scores and makes it 37-31. There's a nice little runner that's put up that time by Nick Gerhardt. It won't go, and the rebound ends up with Central. Moodler hands it to Albright, and he'll bring it over the midcourt stripe. 3:10 left in the third quarter. Moodler, left wing. Makes a pass to Joey Smith. Smith drives, and a little bank shot. It goes in, and he draws the foul and a chance for a traditional three-point play. Foul was called on Nick Rigby. Nick picks up his second. Substitution. Jonathan Price goes out. Jaden Smith came back in off the bench, and Smith completes the traditional three-point play with that shot from the foul line and makes it a 3. Count it, 3-point. Bearcats lead. Pass attempted from Gerhardt to Selesky, almost stolen. They kick it out. Nick Rigby tries a 3, and the rebound is pulled down by Moodler, but stolen away by Jackson Ritchie. And as Ritchie tried to make a move, he draws a foul from the Scarlet Dragons. See who that foul's called against. I think it's called against Moodler. He's pleading his case, and the foul's been called, and he now has 3. Team 5th now for Central. And Jackson Ritchie at the line to shoot a couple. First one. Little short off the front of the rim and didn't get that good shooter's roll. And here's the interesting part about that. Jackson Ritchie is a 69% free throw shooter. Missed the first one. Let's see if we can get him the second one. And Jackson has that one. It's his first point of the night. And it puts the Bearcats up by 5. And a timeout is called by Central. It is a full timeout. That'll give us a chance to recognize a couple of our sponsors here. You're listening to Bearcat Basketball on theairnetwork.net.
Hello, this is Dr. Simone from Simone Family Chiropractic and Chiro Thin Weight Loss Center. By now, you've probably heard of our amazing doctor-supervised weight loss system, but maybe you are not sure if it works or you don't know the cost. Introducing the all-new 9-day, 9-pound, $69 Chiro Thin experience. The system is based on the 4 gold standards of weight loss established by the federal government. Call us today at 814-643-2616 or find us on Facebook.
Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon.
And the Central Scarlet Dragons inbound with 2:45 left to go here in the third quarter and a 4-point Bearcat lead. Moodler with the basketball tries to pass for Smith over top of him. That's a chore to do, to get it high enough that Joey Smith can't get it, but he doesn't. Goes out of bounds, and the Bearcats get themselves a turnover thanks to Noah Moodler. Just heard from Greg Banks back at the studios. Tyrone Johnstown, you ready for this? Tied at double deuces at the half. 22-22. The winner of that game and the winner of this one facing off Saturday at Penn State Altoona. Jaden Smith goes over to Nick Gerhardt. Gerhardt back to Selesky and over to Jaden Smith. Deep in the right wing. Here's Nick Rigby. Steps up toward the three-point line and then stops. Kicks it over. Jaden Smith hits his first 3 of the night and puts the Bearcats up 41-34. That's a big momentum potential shifter there by Jayton Smith. Noah Moodler trying to drive the lane, and eventually that whistle blows as it should have. He met some stiff resistance from the Bearcats in the lane, and he traveled. Minute 57 left to go here in the third quarter, and a substitution into the game for Central. As coming in off the bench, it is Leighton King. Trying to finish things out here in quarter number 3 for Reggie Nevin's Central Scarlet Dragons. 41-34. Bearcats trying to get that lead up a little bit further. Nick Rigby, right wing, kicks it down, right baseline. Gerhardt puts one up, hits the side of the backboard, and the rebound is pulled in by Thad Albright. Albright up the floor over the midcourt stripe, slows things down a bit. Minute 38 left. Oh, my, almost a ball carry there. Joey Smith with the ball. From the right wing, goes toward the basket, just kind of flips it up in the air, and it almost goes down and through. And then in a fight for the rebound between Selesky and Smith, the ball ends up squirting out of bounds, and it's going to be Central's ball. That was a quick trip out there for Leighton King. He goes back to the bench, and Noah Moodler comes back in. Inbounding the ball will be Hunter Klotz. Klotz gets it to Smith in the left corner. Smith out to Moodler, top of the key. He's going to take a three from there, and he's going to miss it. And Will Selesky has himself another board. Minute 15 left, 41-34 Bearcats. Here goes Nick Gerhardt down the lane, makes a pass as he gets toward the basket. Gets it to Jackson Ritchie. Jackson puts up the shot. It won't go, but Jackson was fouled in the process. And that foul was called on Noah Moodler. Came back in time to get his fourth personal foul. And that is big. He is such a key part of that team. Bringing the ball up the floor and basically being the point guard for Reggie Nevins. Jackson Ritchie makes the first. He's now 2 for 3 from the foul line. All of his points coming from the foul line in tonight's game. 42-34, Bearcats by 8. Ritchie's second shot is up and nothing but net. Jackson now with 3 points, all from the foul line, and a 43-34 Bearcat lead. A steal by Gerhardt. Tries to go back to Ritchie in a behind-the-back kind of pass, and it was just a little bit wide. Jackson couldn't come up with it, so looked like the Bearcats had a big momentum shifter there, but Central ends up getting it back. And then, with the ball inbounded from Joey Smith to his teammate Hunter Klotz, and Klotz looked at his hands like maybe he was really sweaty, and the ball just slipped right out of his hands and out of bounds, and Huntingdon gets it right back. Nick Rigby will get a rest here for the final minute 2 of the third quarter, and Jonathan Price comes back in. Will Selesky to inbound, and it looks like Will could use a rest on the bench right now. I mean, he's putting in some hard time out there. And the pass goes down to him, and he makes the layup, but they say that Jackson Ritchie traveled when he moved his feet to make that pass down on the baseline to Will Selesky. And the Scarlet Dragons will get the ball. And apparently Coach Payne heard me. And Will Selesky gets a break, gets to go to the bench. Andrew Miller comes in to replace Will. Inbound play. Braden Kitt gets the ball to Thad Albright. Price almost steals it. Albright works his way through it. And then Jayton Smith met him immediately after that. And then immediately the whistle blew. See who they called that on. I suspected Jonathan Price, and indeed it was, as Jonathan picks up his third. Owen Lane will come into the game for Jonathan Price. And Jonathan will get to spend some time on those comfy chairs down on the Bearcat sideline. Thad Albright takes the inbound pass and gets it over the midcourt stripe. Passes the ball to Braden Kitt. Leighton King then ends up going to Hunter Klotz. Joey Smith tries one. Two-pointer, deep two-pointer from the top of the key. It won't go, and the rebound eventually ahead to Owen Lane. Owen Lane goes to Jackson Ritchie, makes a nice move, bounces it in off the backboard. Jackson Ritchie, a big factor here in the second half, now has 5 points on the night, and the Bearcats are up by 11, 45-34. Thad Albright tries a jumper in the lane, won't go. Joey Smith, rebound, put back, shot counts, and the Bearcats foul. And let's see who that foul is called on. I think Owen Lane. And in which case that'll be Owen's third. Indeed it is. And Owen comes out. Nick Rigby thought he was going to get a rest for the rest of the third quarter. Well, Coach Payne says, I need you back out there. And Nick, as Coach Payne described, is the kind of guy, it's like first guy in the gym, last guy out. So he's seen that floor a lot this year. Joey Smith at the line for the traditional three-point play, and he misses it high off the back of the rim. Rebound attempt, still being fought for, and eventually goes out of bounds off of Huntingdon, and there's 4.9 seconds left. 4 players at once scrambling for that from Huntingdon, and 3 from Central, and eventually it just rolls out of bounds, and the last one to touch it, one of the Bearcats. Moodler comes back into the game for Central with his 4 fouls. Inbound play as he goes to Klotz. Klotz kicks it back over. 3-point attempt by Moodler will not go, and the rebound is pulled in by Jackson Ritchie, but the clock runs out. A successful third quarter in the books for the Huntingdon Bearcats. And after 3 quarters here at Huntingdon Area High School, Bearcats 45 and Central 36. Back with more after this. You're listening to the Air Network.net and 94.1 FM Huntingdon.
Fresh from the farm. That's the Brenneman's Meat Market Way. Their USDA certified meat facility offers custom butchering and processing from a large selection of locally sourced beef, pork, goat, and lamb. The retail store offers a large variety of fresh cut beef, pork, and chicken, along with deli items, smoked products, and an impressive selection of seafood. For freshness and unbeatable flavor for your home or wholesale needs, choose Brenneman's Meat Market.
Brenneman's Meat Market in Huntingdon. Call 643-2751.
D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, D.C. Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence. Fourth quarter is underway. The Bearcats had the ball to start the fourth quarter, working it down and around, and Jonathan Price ends up being fouled. It's a one-on-one, and he misses the front end of it, and the rebound is pulled in by Noah Moodler. Bearcats up by 9, 45-36. 7:40 left to go, trying to make their way to Penn State Altoona on Saturday. Putting Greg Banks back to work back at the studio. I'm trying to take it easy on him, let him just kind of ease back into things. And he's checking on that Johnstown-Tyrone game for you, and we'll let you know. Foul, by the way, was called on Owen Lane. Owen picking up his 4th. Joey Smith at the line. Misses the first of 2. Owen Lane will come out of the game, and coming back in, Jackson Ritchie. Smith pretty disappointed with himself, missing that first of 2. Second one, short to the front of the rim. Will Selesky goes after the rebound. Thad Albright tries to steal it away from him, and Albright is called for the foul. For Albright, that's his second, and now team make that his third. I missed one along the way, so Albright now with 3. 8th team foul on Central. They're getting close to the automatic 2 from the foul line. Right now, a one-on-one for Will Selesky. Good form, good follow through, and he's rewarded with it falling down through the cylinder. Will Selesky makes the first of a one-on-one. 46-36. Bearcats lead. Selesky had that front of the rim, back of the rim, but it came back too hard and will not go down through. And Central with the rebound. Moodler ahead to Joey Smith. Spin move and gets his elbow up and knocks Will Selesky to the floor. I think he caught Will up around the nose, but all 4 of his teammates come over and get him up off the ground. He wipes his nose a couple of times, and Jonathan Price, who knows a little bit something about getting hit pretty hard, tries to console his teammate on the way back, and now Nick Rigby comes over to check on Will. Gives him a pat in the back. Gives him the old attaboy. And, of course, with Will hitting the deck, and he is really profusely sweating here tonight. Left quite a patch of sweat on the floor, so his teammates and the officials clean that up, and here we go. Jayton Smith to Nick Rigby. There's Will Selesky out around the midcourt circle. Kicks it over. Jayton Smith now on the right side. Jonathan Price between the circles goes to Rigby at the foul line. Starts down the lane, left side, lays it up and in. Nick Rigby puts the Bearcats up by 12, 48-36, 7 minutes left to go in the game. Noah Moodler with the basketball, hands it to Albright. Albright kicks it back out to Joey Smith, thought about the 3, didn't take it. Ball comes back over for a 3-point attempt, and that will not go for Luke Williams, who's seen limited action because of the amount of fouls he's had, and he comes out to start the 4th quarter. Williams with 4, Moodler with 4 also. And both of those guys are out there. With the basketball, Jackson Ritchie to pass to Jonathan Price. Will Selesky then to Jayton Smith. In the corner to Rigby, back to Smith, working the perimeter now. Trying to wait for a good opening. They kick it over. Ritchie thought about the 3 and pulled it down. Jonathan Price looked for a screen, got one from Selesky, but didn't use it. Selesky from the foul line into the left corner. Coming out from there is Jayton Smith. Back to Selesky, down the lane, spin move, and the ball goes out of bounds off his hip, according to the official. So Central will get the ball. Bearcats could have added on to a 12-point lead, but instead it'll be Central trying to cut that back to single digits here if they could put up a 3 and make it. 5:55 left to go. Albright with the basketball for Central to Moodler on the left wing. Moodler to Joey Smith down the baseline. Spins over top of Will Selesky. Shooters roll. Joey Smith makes it a 48-38 Bearcat lead. And a quick timeout is called by Reggie Nevins. Let's see how long this one is. It's just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. See if Greg was able to come up with any kind of a score there in Johnstown, Tyrone. That game going on at Tyrone. And we want to thank our sponsors for sticking with us during the downtime there as Greg took ill and the Air Network took a back seat to getting Greg back up and on his feet again. And we're happy to report that he is back on his feet. Some days are better than others, as I'm sure Greg will tell you. But we want to thank Austin Smith Plumbing and Heating, Brenneman's Meat Market. They have such great food there. D.C. Goodman and Sons, and the Huntingdon Moose. What a great bunch of folks they are. And, of course, Dr. Simone, too. He's been a great backer of Huntingdon High School sports. Thanks to you guys for hanging in there with us, and we'll try to follow the postseason with the Bearcats as long as we can. Jonathan Price down the lane all the way, lays it up and won't go. Rebound pulled down by Moodler. Central goes back the other way with 5.5 left to go in the game. From behind, Price knocks the ball away, but it goes to Smith. Tried the layup, won't go. Rigby had it for a while, and it's taken back by Klotz. Eventually back to Albright, and he'll try to set things up out around the midcourt circle. Goes to Moodler on the left wing. Albright, with the amount of fouls on Moodler, is handling more of the backcourt duties. Joey Smith tries to make a move, kicks it back out, and a travel call. Braden Kitt tried to get that extra step, and it was indeed an extra step. And as the fans have said here once or twice tonight, you can't do that. It's a travel. Selesky inbounds to Price. Back to Selesky, and Will bring that up over the midcourt strike. Jayton Smith now takes over. He's out at the midcourt circle, looks over at head coach Nick Payne. Started to make a move, pulled back. Nick Rigby out there on the right wing deep. Rigby trying to get his guys to come out, and there is nobody deep right now. In a 2-3, and everybody is right around the foul line, and Coach Nick Payne doesn't like the way things are going, so he takes a 30-second timeout with the score Bearcats 48 and Central 38. Here from Huntingdon Area High School on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. And once again, just checking to see if we've got anything on that Tyrone Johnstown affair that's going on in Tyrone tonight. Nothing yet. Last thing we had was a 22-all tie at the half, so try to find out what is going on with that one. If the Bearcats can hang on and win this one, then that's the next team they would play would be the winner of that game between Johnstown and Tyrone. Johnstown won the game at Johnstown earlier in the season, handily, I might add, right after they had lost Tyrone at Huntingdon here to the Bearcats. Bearcats with the ball, working things around. Jackson Ritchie to the hole on a pass from Will Selesky. Selesky thrilled to see his teammate Jackson Ritchie score, and there's a foul on the play as well. Jackson Ritchie working hard out there. He'll get to go to the line and shoot one, tried to convert the traditional three-point play. Braden Kitt comes back into the game. Colby Leibel was in there for a while. A short while. That foul shot is short, and Jackson Ritchie misses, but the Bearcats are up by 12, 50-38, with 4:20 left to go in the game. Thad Albright to Noah Moodler. Moodler starts down the left side of the lane, kicks it at the very end over. Shot is high, up off the glass, does not go. Will Selesky with a rebound. Joey Smith tried to pull it away from him, and Smith is going to be called for the foul. That's just his second, by the way. Well, they have him as 3 on the scoreboard, so I might have missed one along the way. It's been known to happen. It does send Selesky to the line, and 10 fouls on Central. 2 shots for Will. First one's nothing but net. What a job by Will Selesky. He was not somebody I targeted to talk about in the pregame show, and maybe I should have. Will has had himself a game and has worked really hard out there. Next one is short. Ritchie had the rebound, and it's ripped away from him from behind by Joey Smith. Smith continues to take it up the floor. Jonathan Price trying to get the ball off of Smith, ends up being called for the foul. Now, as they were making their way up the floor, it was Hunter Klotz who ended up, he had fallen on the floor and had a heck of a time getting back up and getting out there. Back into the game for the Bearcats will be Nick Gerhardt, and Jonathan Price will come out. So you have Jayton Smith, Nick Gerhardt, Nick Rigby, Will Selesky, and Jackson Ritchie on the floor for the Cats. Joey Smith makes the first shot. Smith really pouring it on here in the second half. Back into the game, Colby Leibel for Central. And back out of the game is Braden Kitt. Smith's second attempt. Nothing but net again. So Joey Smith adds to his second half point total. 4:03 left to go, and it's an 11-point Bearcat lead, 51-40. Nick Gerhardt with the basketball, dribbling over to the right side where Nick Rigby is on that right wing. Nick comes across the top of the key and then hands it to Jayton Smith. Back to Nick Rigby. Nick will bring it back out here in the left wing, started toward the basket, pulls back. And the Bearcats start to work that perimeter again and get the guys down low to come out, try to get somebody open. And it could be Gerhardt, and he tries a layup from underneath the basket. It won't go in the rebound. Joey Smith, he's going to take that all the way to the hole. You know he is. Will Selesky did not get the plant foot down in time, so he's going to be called for the block and send Joey Smith to the line. For Selesky, that is just his third, and he has played a hard game out there. And it looks as though there has been a warning given to the Central bench. And Reggie Nevins ends up tossing a towel over from the bench area to one of the officials to clean up the perspiration on the floor from Will Selesky. And Reggie Nevins is doing the Jerry Tarkanian thing. He's got the towel over the shoulder. He hasn't managed to sit down and bite the towel yet, but he's kind of got that Tarkanian look to him as he strolls along the sideline. Joey Smith makes the first foul shot and makes it a 10-point Bearcat lead. Smith will try to get it back down to single digits, and Smith now with 17 in the game. And he misses the second one, and Will Selesky with a rebound to Jayton Smith. Smith being guarded closely by Albright, taps it away. And I'm sorry, that kind of looked like him, but it was actually Colby Leibel. Leibel completes the steal and ends up being tripped by Jayton Smith. He falls down, and Leibel gets to go to the line to shoot a couple. Second foul on Jayton Smith, and then ninth on the Bearcats. So both teams shooting 2 from the foul line the rest of the way, and the shot is missed by Leibel. Here's Smith, though, with the rebound, goes down the lane, and just a little roller off the fingertips and right into the basket. He now has 19 here in the basketball game, 14 of those in the second half. Nick Gerhardt with the basketball, guarded by Albright. And Gerhardt hands the ball to Smith, and Nick Payne doesn't like the way things are going, so he decides to call a timeout. 30-second timeout by Coach Payne. 2:56 left to go in the game, and the lead is down to 8, 51-43. The Bearcats have been successful to this point, keeping the lead up around that 8 or 9 point area. They did get it down to 4 at one point, did Central, but have never been able to gain the lead here in the second half. Bearcats going to have to tough it out here and try to make their way to Altoona for the District 6 4A championship game coming up Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Out of the timeout, Will Selesky to inbound, probably to Jayton Smith. We have 2:56 left to go, 51-43. Inbound Selesky to Smith. And Jayton gets over the midcourt stripe. Guarded closely by Leibel. And a pass over for Jonathan Price is tipped out of bounds by Thad Albright. Bearcat ball. 2:48 now left to go. And the inbound play to Jayton Smith, chasing him way back into the central end. Now brings it back over the midcourt stripe. Hands the ball to Jonathan Price. The Huntingdon fans are really riled up. Here's the pass, and it ends up going to Jackson Ritchie. Goes to the hole, puts up the shot. It doesn't go. And Jackson Ritchie ends up being called for the charge as Thad Albright hits the deck. Ritchie's second as I have it. As I said, both teams at 10 fouls now. Inbound play, Moodler brings it up over the left side of the midcourt stripe. Guarded by Jayton Smith, kicks it over. Thad Albright, left wing. Back to Joey Smith, deep. Left wing three, will not fall. Jackson Ritchie, rebound. Ahead to Will Selesky. Selesky passed quickly up to Jonathan Price. Thought about or at least made a move as though he might try to drive to the basket, but pulled back. Here's Rigby down the left baseline. Puts it up off the glass and in. Nick Rigby. As Nick now has 18 on the night for the Bearcats, and they're up by 10, 53-43. Down the lane, Moodler and Will Selesky tried to strip the ball off of him. Moodler wants a foul. That's not going to happen. Ball just goes out of bounds. Selesky, the last player to touch it. So it'll be Central ball, and Moodler will inbound from the sideline and the right baseline, actually, underneath the basket. Gets it into Albright. Back to Moodler. Going to try a three from the right corner, and Moodler hits. As Moodler now has 6 points on the night, and a timeout is called. It is a full timeout. We want to get some Time for our sponsors, and we'll do that right here. You're listening to Bearcat Basketball. It's on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM Huntingdon. Back with more right after this.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities year-round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors community events for the public, plus social events for members and their guests. Stop by for their Friday food special starting at 5 p.m. every Friday, and don't forget to check out our website for other exciting events. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community. Join us today.
Hello, this is Dr. Simone from Simone Family Chiropractic and Chiro Thin Weight Loss Center. By now, you've probably heard of our amazing doctor-supervised weight loss system, but maybe you are not sure if it works or you don't know the cost. Introducing the all-new 9-day, 9-pound, $69 Chiro Thin experience. The system is based on the 4 gold standards of weight loss established by the federal government. Call us today at 814-643-2616 or find us on Facebook.
All right, we're back. Bearcats with the basketball, but they lose control, and Central brings it back. Minute 29 left to go. 53-46. Bearcats with the lead. Joey Smith reels that in. Noah Moodler with the basketball. Down the lane. Spin move. Reverse layup. Won't go. Tipped around. Joey Smith ends up trying to put that one back up and in, and he draws a foul again. The big guy draws a lot of attention, rightfully so. He's such a big part of the team. And the foul was called on Will Selesky as Will picks up his 4th. Smith will shoot 2. Try to get up over 20 points. He is right at 20 with that foul shot made. Into the game, Nick Gearhart and Jonathan Price comes out. Jayton Smith, Jackson Ritchie, Nick Gearhart, Nick Rigby, and Will Selesky out there for the Bearcats. Joey Smith's second shot won't go. Rebound, Selesky. Minute 15 left. 53-47. Bearcats by 6. Gearhart gets over the midcourt stripe, hands it to Jayton Smith. Jayton, right wing, hands it to Nick Rigby, guarded by Joey Smith. And reaching in to try to get a steal was Joey Smith, but he got too much of the arm of Nick Rigby, and Nick will go to the line to shoot a pair as Joey Smith picks up his 4th. Minute 2 left in the game. Rigby at the line to shoot 2. Bearcats up by 7, 54-47. Into the game for the Scarlet Dragons, Braden Kitt. Nice time for Colby Leibel of Central. Rigby's second of 2. He makes them both. Pressure situation. Nick Rigby responds. Bearcats up by 8, 55-47. Under a minute left to go in the game. Down to 50 seconds. Smith drives to the left side of the lane, lays it up and in. There's just been no stopping that young man here in the second half. Down to 46 seconds left to go. 55-49. Jackson Ritchie to Nick Gearhart. Gearhart calmly dribbles back over toward Jayton Smith. The Bearcats slowing it down here. Jayton Smith around Joey Smith. And then to Will Selesky in the corner, passes it out for Nick Rigby, and reaching in from behind for a foul, one of the Scarlet Dragons. And it's Joey Smith. That's his 5th. Joey Smith with 5 personal fouls, 22 points on the night. Bearcats lead by 6, and the Huntingdon fans actually showing a little love for Joey Smith here. What a heck of a game for the young man. Will Selesky at the line. He'll shoot 2. 30.3 left to go in the game. Selesky with his first one. Hard off the back of the rim. Selesky at this point is doing pretty well, though. He's right around his season mark from the foul line. Could use this one. Put the Bearcats up by 7. Great form there, and Will Selesky hits that, and it's 56-49. 7-point lead, 27 seconds left. Moodler with the basketball, top of the key. Gets it back, now on the right wing. Throws up a wild shot, and it just goes out of bounds. He is trying to claim that he was fouled. from beyond the arc by Jayden Smith. Nobody is buying what Moodler is selling. Sorry, Noah. Inbound play to Nick Rigby. Central peeling off. It looks like it's the Bearcats on their way to Altoona for the district championship. Jayden Smith to Jackson Ritchie to Will Selesky. 6 seconds left. Selesky dribbles around. They try to steal it from him, and they end up fouling him with 2.1 left to go. Not much. If Central really wanted to make a charge there at the end, they needed to get into that foul scenario a little bit sooner, but they did not. And they're going to send Will Selesky to the line again. Coming into the game for the Scarlet Dragons, Leighton King once again, and Selesky misses the first of two. Shrugs his shoulders after he missed that one. Bearcats fans cheering. Normally the fans stay quiet. When a foul shot's going on, they start to cheer. Selesky looks back in at him and applauds the Bearcat faithful underneath the basket. And at the end of the game, a three-point attempt is put up by Thad Albright, and it hits the dividers inside the gym here at Huntingdon Area High School. The final score tonight, the Bearcats showing their stuff, coming on strong there in the fourth quarter, as a good run was put on by the Central Scarlet Dragons, but it wasn't enough. It's an 8-point victory tonight for the Bearcats. The final score, Huntingdon 57 and Central 49. I'll try to hone my Common Core math skills here and try to get you some final point totals. We'll take this time out and be back with more from Huntingdon Area High School and the AirNetwork.net and 94.1 FM Huntingdon. DC Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, DC Goodman and Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. DC Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community with loads of activities year-round. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 proudly sponsors community events for the public, plus social events for members and their guests. Stop by for their Friday food special starting at 5 p.m. every Friday, and don't forget to check out our website for other exciting events. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community. Join us today.
Fresh from the farm. That's the Brenneman's Meat Market Way. Their USDA certified meat facility offers custom butchering and processing from a large selection of locally sourced beef, pork, goat, and lamb. The retail store offers a large variety of fresh cut beef, pork, and chicken, along with deli items, smoked products, and an impressive selection of seafood. For freshness and unbeatable flavor for your home or wholesale needs, choose Brenneman's Meat Market.
Brenneman's Meat Market in Huntingdon. Call 643-2751.
Welcome back to Huntingdon Area High School, where the Bearcats have made sure they would move on and play for the District 6 Championship. That game, of course, coming up in Altoona, and that will be played Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and we'll have it for you here on the AirNetwork.net. This one ends up 57-49, and still yet to hear anything on the outcome of that Tyrone-Johnstown game going on at Tyrone. The last report we had from there was 22-all. And that was at the half. Leading scorer for the Bearcats tonight, I had Nick Rigby with 20, probably had more. This was a tough one to try to keep score for. Will Selesky, though, and I'm going to stand by this, all his points tonight from the foul line. And you talk about a kid that gave it his all. Will Selesky was just absolutely drained, but he went out there and stayed out there, maybe had the most minutes of any player for Nick Payne in tonight's game, and Will Selesky ends up converting 6 points from the foul line. Nick Gerhardt scored some in the first half. Jackson Ritchie picked things up in the second half as he ends up walking away with 7 from what I have, and it could be more once again. Didn't have a chance to finish the addition here. Jonathan Price, hot as a flare in the first half, and not so much in the second half. We had him with 13 in the first half, and he did not make any in the second half, according to our records. Jayton Smith, on the other hand, picked things up in the second half as he ends up with 5 overall. 57 points for the Bearcats tonight, leading scorer for Central Scarlet Dragons, as we suspected, Joey Smith, who always gives it his all, to be sure. He ended up with 20 and fouled out of tonight's game. Noah Moodler ended up with 6 on the night. Thad Albright's ending up with 7. 10 points for Hunter Klotz. Braden Kitt chipped in a couple as well, but it was truly the Joey Smith show. He only had 5 points in the first half. That would then mean that he had 15 in the second half. Quite a turnaround. But that's what you expect from him. I've seen him play a couple of times now, and that is a typical Joey Smith kind of game. So once again, the Bearcats win this one by 8 tonight, 57-49. It's been a lot of fun to be back with you folks here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. And absolutely nothing coming over the transom, as us old folks used to say, regarding the Tyrone and Johnstown game. So we'll find out. That's going to be the competition for the Huntingdon Bearcats coming up Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock. And that will tip off at the Penn State Altoona campus in the Adler Gym. And we will have that for you one way or to other here on the airnetwork.net. Once again, great to be back working with Greg Banks. And Greg continued to hang in there. Had a couple of folks come up here to the broadcast position and ask about you and how you're doing. And trying to follow you on Facebook. Greg does have a Facebook account. If you want to find out this incredible journey that Greg has been on, getting back to health, go ahead and check out Greg Banks on Facebook, and you'll get to read the whole story, because it is a long story, to be sure. And Greg has been sharing that with those of us who are his friends, and also in this particular case, working together here tonight on the Bearcats basketball game. And it's great to be back working with my friend of so many years, Greg Banks, as we go back through the old Atlantic broadband days, and we had the cable TV game of the week going on. So we've had a few hours that we've spent together at sporting events, and it's great to be back with him again. And hopefully Greg will be able to hang in there, and I know he's been trying to get some rest. He's been taking radiation treatments and has not been getting his afternoon naps. And as I am retired as well, I have come to appreciate the quality and the necessity of afternoon naps. And Greg has not been able to get his in this week. We're hoping that over the course of the weekend, maybe after that game on Saturday between the Bearcats and whoever, well, then maybe he can maybe he can get a little rest on Saturday and Sunday. We hope so. Greg, great to have you back. Lots of folks thinking about you and asking about you. So know that you're in everybody's hearts here around the Huntingdon area, and the Bearcat family keeping you in their thoughts and prayers as you continue your fight forward and getting back to health. Once again, the Bearcats with their first win of the postseason, first game of the postseason, as they defeat the Central Scarlet Dragons by 8 points, 57-49, the final score from the Huntingdon Area High School Gym. That's going to do it for tonight's broadcast on the airnetwork.net. For Greg Banks, and once again, a big shout-out to our sponsors who have stuck with us for Bearcat sports throughout the football and our limited basketball season coverage. But I'll tell you what, we wouldn't be able to bring you these games if it weren't for them. So once again, a big shout-out to our sponsors as well. We will catch you again on Saturday afternoon. We'll try to hit the air probably about 12:45 or so from the Adler Gymnasium in Altoona. And we'll know who the competition is in the not-too-distant future, as we'll find out who wins between Tyrone and Johnstown. Once again, the Bearcats win tonight. For Greg Banks and everyone at the airnetwork.net, including good old Chad States. Chad, my football broadcast partner over the course of the football season. And, hey, we wrapped up a great football season, and hopefully things continue on here for the Bearcats as they maybe can make a deep run into the postseason. One of the things I do some broadcasting for another facility, and Bellwood Annis boys played a game last night. And Bellwood Annis wanted to get some practice in during the downtime between the end of the season and the beginning of the postseason, so they up a scrimmage with these Huntingdon Bearcats. Kevin Conlon is the head coach of the Bellwood Annis Blue Devils, and he said to me last night in our pregame show before their game against Central Cambria, I've seen most all the teams in the area, and Kevin Conlon, with some high praise for Nick Payne's kids, he said, that is the best team in the area. So let's get these Bearcats deep into the playoffs, and the next step is Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock tip-off. Greg Banks and everybody else at the Air Network, Dave Shannon from the Huntingdon Area High School Gym, where the Bearcats win by 8 points, 57-49. Until we meet up on Saturday, good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Bearcat Basketball on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Tonight's game was presented by Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community, and by D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family. The game was also brought to you by Simone Family Chiropractic in downtown Huntingdon, Brenneman's Meat Market, and by Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing of Huntingdon. Listen for rebroadcasts of tonight's game throughout the week. And thanks again for listening to the home of Bearcat Sports, exclusively on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
Don't forget the rebroadcast coming up tonight at 10 o'clock right here on the airnetwork.net. See you again on Saturday. Good night.
Okay, Dave, can you hear me? Whoops. All righty. That's a wrap, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I only got that one hit on that Johnstown score. And that girl put it up there like, hey, if anybody's interested. And she put that halftime score up there, and then that was the end of it.
I had 5 people come up and ask me about that. So
yeah.
At any rate, well, did it stay solid then through the second half?
Yeah, second half was solid. Let me make sure I shut this down.